One, we are now live. Fanboy Modeling School. What up, squad? Hello and welcome to the Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, now in HD, and I'm here with my man
Steve, real name, no gimmicks, and high def for all you lo-fi lovers.
Lo-fi Master. How are you, friendo?
I'm doing good, my brother. How are you?
I am living the dream. So glad to be doing the show. The show is like sheer therapy for me, man. The world is nuts. I'm going nuts. But we have each other, and we have all our lovely fans. Love you guys.
Love y'all. Love you too, brother, man. World is going nuts, man. I was driving Mama Hold Up TV home. That's my mother. And we always have deep political discourse wrapped in a social bow, a lot of commentary, and we joke and have fun. And, you know, there's just certain topics that are very, very messed up that are going on in the world right now.
You can't even talk to your family about stuff anymore.
Well, yeah, we had a conversation because I think we've reached a middle road in regards to our political discourse. Like, I think my mom had me pegged for the type of person that couldn't say Trump did bad. And I was like, no, that's your liberal sentiment. I never said that. I am saying that he is not the greatest evil this world has experienced. And if you think he is, then I need to know what your meter is. I need to know what your standard is. And now we joke and we have fun, man. But F all of those shenanigans.
It's gotten to the point where, like, literally me and my mother cannot discuss literally anything. Or it's World War III, like anything. What was the taboo topic of tonight? Oh, what we were having for dinner. It turned into World War III. So literally any topic. So forget speaking about Palestine and Israel. There's no way we can't get over dinner.
I'm telling you, cucumbers are better than pickles. What up, Rogue?
Rogue Radio, what up? Holla at your boy. We've also got Shaun Iceboxer. You know him by the name. Now experience him while he does lightsaber combat. Everyone go to his school immediately. We got Team Miz in the house. What's up, team? We got Dragon Lady. Always a pleasure to have her
here.
What up,
Dragon?
So no, a lot of crazy things are going on in this world.
Right.
We already brought up the topic we promised we would never bring up.
People are getting deplatformed, man. Well, not deplatformed. The new punishment is now not to cancel people, but surprise, surprise, like let me hit you in your pockets. Few bigger YouTubers. Yeah, demonetized.
YouTube. Fuck YouTubers. Porn stars are getting fired for having opinions now. And so porn stars are getting fired, and then actually, Tara Strong, who's very pro-Israel, she's Jewish. She is a voice actress who she does everything. Like she's done Harlequin a couple of times for various DC outings.
What up, RM?
Yeah, and she has lost her job too for being hyper political on Twitter. So it's just kind of it is nuts.
And she's pro-Israel, but she still lost her job. Wow, man. Yeah, liability is a hell of a thing, right? Real quick before we have Joe Budden on the topic here, and this is an honorable mention. We talked about it, but you just sparked something in my mind, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're not being canceled. We can agree on that, right? Sometimes you're experiencing the consequences, or you're being stopped from experiencing any consequences. So you remember a few weeks back, we covered the Tasha K, Joe Budden situation. Joe Budden put a kibosh on having their interview hit the light of day for a few reasons. People speculate. One, him and Cardi B were going back and forth. She's like, yeah, what's your problem with me? We've always been cool. But in actuality, I was talking to my employer today, and I was like, I don't buy that. I don't think it was just about Cardi B. I think that if you and I were successful podcasters and we had a legal team and they were like, I'm sorry, you guys keep us on retainer for this type of shit. You're about to do an interview with who? Who just got found guilty and liable for what? And do you want to release it so the other person can see it? No.
Yeah, no way, no.
Don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
RM says Amy Schumer needs to get fired from everything. Probably
on GP, just on GP.
Yeah, she needs to get fired because she's not funny, not because of any political persuasions that she has.
At any rate, my brother.
And actually, while we're on the quick show button, because I don't think it's big enough to be its own topic for the show, but it is an honorable mention. I want to talk about DJ Envy and his boy Cesar Pena and the whole scam situation going on.
Oh my goodness, they're calling them Rico, real estate Ricos.
And so literally the feds went to iHeart Huckabee Studios.
Yes.
And they took some laptops apparently from that. So this isn't just some small thing.
Devices. No, it's not a small thing, man. It's funny because we talked a bit ago about the whole Trump thing, with all his, the RICO case that he's facing. And
you mean those trumped up charges?
Look, we already went through this. I said, look up the definition of conspiracy. But hear me out.
And it's a picture of Nancy Pelosi and Bill Clinton hanging out next to each other.
Well, listen, man. They got the Kraken. The Kraken just pled guilty.
People plead guilty sometimes, for shit. It doesn't mean they're guilty.
These are rich people. They're not pleading guilty like you and I would plead guilty.
But sometimes they have something on you, and then you're like, well, I guess I'm pleading guilty.
Yeah, the thing they're accusing you of, or something you don't want to hit the public light. But yeah, the whole DJ Envy, Rico, what's this guy's name again? The other one?
Cesar Pena, which isn't even his real name, apparently, but it's what he goes under.
So check this out, man. You know what's even crazier? Imagine getting picked up and arrested, right? And then your idiot brother goes on IG and threatens the guy who broke the story by saying, man, I'm going to clap you, man. Could you imagine? Like, what would you do? What would you do?
Well, that would be a little embarrassing, for one. I'd be like, yo, bro, that's a little embarrassing. But beyond embarrassing, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, man. And some of you guys, man, you spend so much time lauding up how much of a thug you are. You probably should put that down and pick up a legal book and see how easy it is to be seen as someone's co-conspirator.
Yeah, they need to be more like Stringer Bell, If more criminals like Stringer Bell.
See, but Stringer Bell is like the most tragic story. He did it and didn't disassociate himself with people that would pull him down. Milo would have been out in my universe.
Right. I'm like, you're right. After a certain level of legitimacy, you're just like, who's calling me? I don't know this person. Rebix, that pink princess is in the house.
I like your picture there, a little profile picture. Who is that?
That's Veronica. I think that's Veronica from Archie and Veronica, I believe. But fangirls, for fanboys, love it. RM says, ask Steve about Peekaboo.
Okay, here we go.
So you know about this?
No.
So Donald Trump has nicknamed Letitia James Peekaboo. And people think he was trying to say Jigaboo.
Oh.
And he misspoke. But he's rolling with it. And so people were like, what do you think? Do you think he was... What do you think? What does Peekaboo even mean? For starters, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, I can see how in the context of like how he's described her and his dealings with her, like she just disappears and comes back and she's like Peekaboo. Now, if he had the balls to outright say, that Jigaboo, he's definitely getting reelected. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And it's gonna be even weirder? It's gonna be weirder to watch Candace Owens and that other guy, the police officer, and even your boy, what's his name? Black guy with the hat and the glasses. You love him. I love him too. Brian Anthony. This is Brian Anthony Logan.
Oh yeah,
another video. It's gonna be. That would be very weird. Do you think they would defend Trump if he just straight up called her a Jigaboo? Like the black conservative.
I think Candace Owens would, but not Anthony Brian Logan. No, he would not. Good old ABL would not do it.
What about Officer Tatum?
Yeah, he would. he is totally drank the pill. He says something that probably should get him thrown off of YouTube, including sometimes he reviews shooting videos between cops.
Oh yeah.
And all the time he's like, "It's a fair shooting. What the hell?" Like, I'm thinking,
it's like a 3-year-old kicking the cop. He's like, "What? That baby probably had a record."
So I'm surprised he doesn't get kicked off for that content. But I mean, he's so Trump. It's like it's pretty hardcore.
But do you think Trump was trying to say jigaboo, man? Like, how can you accidentally not say the word? Unless this is some white supremacist coded language I don't understand.
You know how old people fiddle with their words and they're like, blah, blah, blah. You know, like Biden's like, he's saying half words.
Yeah. Dog show, pony horse.
Yes, exactly. It could have been that. I don't know. I'd have to see him say it. Or he knows exactly what he's doing, and he thought jigaboo, and he's like, let me call it peekaboo instead, and he knows.
Well, remember,
and he's that clever.
Who didn't shy away from using the term the Kung flu. There are many racist terms I've heard in my entire life, man. And the most hard-hitting ones are the subtle ones, right? And the Kung flu works on so many different levels as racist. It's insane. Like, he hit all the subliminal bells with that one. Bro. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not going to lie to you, Mantis. That is one of the things that kept me off the Trump train. I was like, I don't know about this guy, man.
No, I didn't vote for him, but I wish I had because he said Kung flu. You realize that makes him more badass, not less, yeah, right?
You're already going against the new sanitized version of Fanboy, right? We got.
Well, I didn't think we were starting tonight.
Everything's on the internet. We're gonna have to make all our videos.
We're gonna keep the old ones loose and just the ones that. Yeah, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Did you have any honorable mentions?
So no, I didn't have any honorable mentions in that sense, man. I will say this, man, and we don't have to go into it because you haven't watched it. I am having a good time watching Loki, right? I did finish the Wheels of Time season 2, which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I recently started rewatching the first 4 seasons of Castlevania, and I think I sent it to you and Shaun. If I didn't, I will send it to you. I watched the gentleman on YouTube because that's where all the scholars can be found now. Make a very strong argument for why Nocturna doesn't suck. And he was like, you guys are so blinded by your anti-woke sentiment that you don't even realize the coolest character in the first series was a race swap. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks, Mantis, that I had watched and enjoyed a show that race swapped multiple characters and I didn't have issue with it. Mostly because I didn't know the lore.
Right. I don't know the lore that well. Who was the race swap?
Isaac. Isaac is not black in the video game. Surprise, fucking surprise.
Right. Oh, God.
And he was a key character. Now, I think one of the things that people took issue with, and I would be interested to hear your take on this, man, is that one of the new characters, the sister that's in the show, she is a survivor and a part of the Liberation Party that, freed Haiti. Right. And that's her backstory. It's where she gets her magic. She meets with an elder that helps her unlock her magical powers and shit. And her powers are fucking cool. But I was like, man, I actually didn't mind that. And I think the reason I didn't mind that was because this is where the character came from. The character traveled to France, right? And she's not just some random black person in a time where there may or may not
make sense. Right.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. So that made sense to me. But what are your thoughts on that?
So I haven't seen it, and I would actually want to. And so if people's argument is simply just she's Haitian and she mentioned slavery, therefore she's wokey McWokeface and this sucks, that's fucking stupid. Because that is the problem with the anti-wokers, that literally they'll just have a woman antagonist or protagonist, and then suddenly it's woke. Like, this is what I'm like. Does that mean we can never have a female protagonist again? Right. Does that mean we can't have any brothers or sisters in this? They're like, a black stormtrooper. Oh, and they're like foaming at the mouth. It's like, well, there's a lot of them.
If they were real racist, they're like, well, that's why the goddamn stormtroopers can't shoot.
Or take off their helmets. They're all black under there. Yeah. I mean, and they're clearly subservient. These real racists, if they knew what they were doing, would be into it.
Right. I dig it.
But I am sick of that. However, I have to admit, I am sick to death of wokeness, man. And so I think everyone's guard is up of the wokies. So I watched a horror show from one of my great favorite creators, Mike Flanagan, Fall of the House of Usher.
Okay, I've been hearing a lot about this.
Right. And so I've only watched the first 2 episodes. And so it's the story of a man. Essentially, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but he does something evil to get he's a billionaire, and he gets all of his 6 kids killed. They all die under weird circumstances, and it has something to do with something he did. He caused it. And so in the story, so it's a white dude, billionaire, has 6 kids, and they had his children be interracial. He has a black daughter, an Indian son, like you know what I'm saying, like an Arab son.
Wait,
Like literally every color, every color of the room. Yo, the black woman was so black. He could have married Lupita Nyong'o and still never get a child that dark. There is no fucking way that is his daughter. There's no fucking way. And so this is what they have to do in Wokey McWoketown, that they're like, cast everybody. It's all, his kids could be interracial. There is no way that actress is interracial. Okay, she's a black chick, straight up. She doesn't have a white daddy. This isn't Barack Obama over here. So I'm foaming at the mouth right now, but I just hate that stuff because it takes you out of the enjoyment of it.
And listen, it's not that I'm disagreeing with you, man. I just think that there's a way that you can make media and reference history, right? Now, here's the thing, man. Are we so anti-woke that we can no longer be objective?
So I think that, of course, I think I'm objective. So I'll give you a thing. I totally embrace The Force Awakens. I love The Force Awakens. I thought it was the great beginning of a series that could have been wonderful. Yeah. I hate the sequel trilogies because they're shit. Not because there's a brother and a sister in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, I don't know. Like, I still enjoy the occasional race swap. Cyclops should be black.
When they bring those people in.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't bother me so much. I mean, I know you're very against race swaps.
Yeah, but I'm against race swaps for the right reason, right? If you're gonna do something, make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's got to take me into the character. The exact opposite reaction that you were just describing. Like, so when I was watching Nocturna, one, I have to admit there were some issues that I took with it, right? Like, and my first issue was that it wasn't the first 4 seasons of the other show. Like, the other characters are so much better and more appealing, and they just become more appealing over time. But this is the first season, you know? Now, when it comes to like woke shit, man, here's where it becomes my problem, right? When they portray things in an unbalanced way, right? Where everything is the result of one thing, where no one has any culpability in anything, right? Like, there was a time, you remember back when we were growing up, man, hood movies were kind of frowned upon, right? They were enjoyed by a certain level of the population, but it was still frowned on. It's like, maybe you shouldn't be watching Menace to Society. I don't care how accurate it is to your life. That's a problem. This movie should not be making millions of dollars. I hate the type of wokeness. It's like, whoa, the reason he picked up that gun and shot him was because of the establishment, right? I'm like, is that what happened? Or is it exactly what happened, which was this motherfucker stepped on his shoes, and no matter how you try to take the blame off of this guy, like he killed this guy for a frivolous reason. There's no more frivolous, empty reason than killing someone for crack and control of a neighborhood.
Yeah, you know that one of the things I hate the most about liberals is their weakness. They're weak. They're weak ass people they're gonna let the wolf into their house, and they're gonna be like, this poor wolf was abused by society. Let's give him some food, and he's gonna eat your fucking children, and he's probably gonna rape your wife. So I'm merciless when it comes to like crime stuff. So like, I don't buy into that, but I really can't stand it coming out of these, you know, these liberals. This concept that they're like, he was abused.
Can I ask you a question? Is Obi-Wan a liberal?
No way.
What's the chick's name?
He's
that
probably
was
a racist.
What was the chick's name that was Dooku's fucking apprentice?
Asajj Ventress.
Asajj Ventress. So I was watching some commentary the other day, man. I was gonna send it to you and Shaun. Where this guy's reading from the Diaries of Obi-Wan, like some comic, some graphic novel, and Obi-Wan said the difference between her and Anakin, and I'm quoting someone quoting a book, so take it with a grain of salt. The difference between her and Anakin was he believed Ventress could be redeemed, and she was redeemed later on in the book,
right?
In the book, with Quaylen or whatever the guy's name is. And he's like, her problem was she had a tragic start, and had the universe been more kind to her, she probably would have turned out a different way. Whereas he looked at Anakin and said, this is a guy that had everything handed to him. And he still turned out like shit. That sounds like some woke shit to me.
So here's what it is. Obi-Wan is an alpha he's an alpha male Christian. And that's what I want to be like.
Okay.
Obi-Wan wants mercy and love and to extend that to everybody, but he has killed his fair share of people across the galaxy because they were on the wrong end of the law. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I'm saying. My argument is that the liberal is the person who's not going to pick up the lightsaber. They're going to let their society burn down, while Obi-Wan's going to fight it. Right?
Oh, what up, Matt?
What up, Matt Cat? Holla at your boy.
That's a cold shot right there. Fucking RM said Anakin was born a slave.
There we go. The justification again. He's a victim, not a villain. The reason he kills, what do they call them? Younglings. The reason he kills younglings is that he was the trauma from slavery. Shellen says Annette was a random swamp. Didn't expect that. She is Richter's girlfriend in the game, and she had nowhere near as big a role.
No, she didn't. She was the damsel in distress. Shellen's right.
There's so many Belmonts. They could have had tons of seasons, but Richter is the best one. That's what makes this season disappointing. They took away too many liberties, and they came across kind of try-hardish. Okay.
I'll tell you one thing, man. I will say this. Go ahead.
RM says Jedis are privileged and out of touch. Wait, hold on. I agree.
Their decadence. They fell because of their decadence.
Yes, and I absolutely do agree with that. And so I think that's one of the points, though. I think Lucas was actually trying to make that point. They literally lived in a tower over all the rich people,
right?
And they watched all the rich people from their windows. That's like great. That's insane.
Through the lens of their, let me see if I got this right. Through the lens of their restrictive religion, they judge others. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And since we all know the sequels aren't canon, in Luke's Jedi Order, which we know is canon, they were rugged and lived amongst the earth and the people.
The ones that were like sentinels and they were out and about doing good. There were Jedi that never left the temple and they're just fucking around sitting in their ivory tower of higher philosophy.
No, he did not repeat the same mistakes of these fucking
You're talking about his
order. His order were rugged.
They had guns. Heroes. They were drinking 40s the whole night.
Yeah, exactly. They were the merry men. Yoda's fucking living the dream as a prince of.
What happened to this game we were supposed to get? The new Star Wars game where it's like set in the High Republic, which I didn't know Yoda was alive during the High Republic. That's fucking nuts.
You don't remember this? This was a huge devastation to like the fan base. So they even sent out a teaser trailer where it didn't have gameplay, but it just showed like cool scenes. And then like about 6 months later, they're like, we've hit a delay. We're not going to be. It won't be coming out till 2025.
Oh my goodness!
And so people were flipping out all over the place.
I got it. Go ahead.
RM, we've talked about this on this show. RM, they've exploited the clones because the clones don't have souls, and they could feel that through the Force, and that's why they felt they could exploit them.
That's not true. Yoda
true.
Yoda clearly says when he's sitting with 3 of them in a fucking cave.
What does he say? Say it.
He said, different in the Force, all 3 of you. You have distinct personalities.
Different. They have distinct personalities, but they don't have souls.
So wait, let me get this straight.
A personality isn't the soul, bro.
A personality isn't a soul, but creatures that have souls have personalities.
Right, but not all things that have personalities have souls.
Name any other than a fictitious character. Name something that's
your cat or your dog.
The cats and dogs don't have souls.
No, I believe they have souls, but I think in this particular science fiction, the clones didn't have souls.
You have nothing to back that up with. The Force recognizes them.
It's obvious.
It's not obvious to anyone but you psychopath.
Aro says that's prejudice, and you should check your non-clone privilege. Yeah, with Magic close, they can't have souls, and Jedi's felt that, and that's why they felt like they could force them to war.
That is not even represented in that scene at all. You fucking
psychopath. But all he's saying is, he's like, you guys are swell guys. You're each individuals. Just because you're an individual doesn't mean you have a soul.
Okay, we're gonna do this, huh? We're gonna get another stream pulled down. Getting Star Wars. He alludes to and outright says heavily that he can feel the Force in them.
He can feel. Come on, bro. Are you serious right now?
So wait. Let me ask you this: did General Grievous have a soul?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to. Okay.
He wasn't a droid or anything. He was a cyborg. He just lost his whole body.
What about Morgoth? Or Abeloth? Does Abeloth have a soul?
Yeah, I think Abeloth is a spiritual being, so therefore is like all soul.
Okay. So your only standard for souls in regards to the clones were the fact that what exactly they're life
They're
forms.
Clones.
They're clones. Okay.
Clones aren't people.
Can I ask you a question, man?
Yeah, you can ask any question you want.
Should a female clone be dragged out in the street and beaten?
I mean, so I would argue that it should be illegal because it's not nice.
Oh,
it should be illegal, but it shouldn't be the same penalty as doing that to someone with a soul.
Do serial killers have souls?
Actually, probably not. That's why I'm pro death penalty. So I'm a Christian, right? However,
wait, don't put that on Christianity.
I'm not putting it on Christianity, but what I'm saying is that when some people are like, "Mantis, how are you pro death penalty?"
Yeah.
I think if something is so inhuman that they've done,
right,
they no longer have a soul and therefore can be gassed
put to death.
Yes.
So they relinquish their soul at the deed.
In the inhuman act.
Indeed.
Probably multiple. I'm talking about multiple inhuman acts. I'm not talking about like.
So back to the female clones. So you're okay in a world where female clones are just getting accosted every language.
Now you're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Are you okay with the concept?
No, you can't. No. So they're not. They have special status as slaves. Oh, what's happening here? Where are we? You know what? Let's talk about the Star Wars reboot. Okay? Because clearly my cohort here has tricked me into saying some crazy things that are going to get me canceled. But I'm just saying they don't have souls. That's all I'm saying.
They're beasts of burden.
Wait, you think they have souls?
The clones? Yeah, I think they have souls, man. I think that they the proof of their souls is what's the episode with the guy who felt, he knew there was a mass conspiracy with the clones and he suspected Order 66.
That's Fives.
I think Fives' level of empathy in there proves that he has a soul.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know what episode you're talking about.
Bro, did you see the tragic tale of him trying to thwart this thing?
Yeah. No, I saw it. It was amazing.
Oh, wait, that's right. No matter how good a clone is or the things they do, Mantis will always be there to euthanize them. But
I'm serious. What is your argument? What is your argument here? Because
let me ask you a question. What is a soul? What's a soul to you?
So I would say a soul was created by God.
Okay.
And not a machine, not a Camino.
Not a Camino. Okay. All right.
Not a comedian or whatever.
For all the clones out there, remember, this shit is on record. You know who you need to vote for.
Yo, just like, here's what I'm saying. Just like, okay, so let me lay it down here. Here's what it is. I do not believe that clones, to be serious, I don't believe clones. My headcanon says clones in Star Wars do not have souls.
Right.
Now, in our own world, the world where we have cloning and where we have AI, I am pro abusing, mistreating both things. They are not humans. They don't get rights like humans, and I will never treat them as such.
You know what? I think that there was someone else had this argument once upon a time in regards to people being 3/4 of a human being. I can't put my finger on it, but when it comes to me,
you cannot compare them. You cannot compare them because the things I'm speaking about are artificial life.
No, I got you, man.
An AI or a robot or an android or whatever the fuck we're going to be banging in the future is artificial life.
I want to go on the record. You're the only one that's going to be banging aliens and robots.
I am going to bang them because it'll be my legal right to treat them like that because they'll be property. That says, I wouldn't let you get canceled, Mantis. I'm your ride or die buddy. Absolutely. There we go. Matt Cat knows what's up. Steve, clones don't have souls.
So Matt's on that list too. Clones,
Dude, clone troopers dream of electric sheep. They dream of dying in war in a glorious battle because that's all they can do.
Oh, man.
So this guy over here claims that he thinks it's time for a reboot of Star Wars. Let's hear his argument.
Director Matthew Vaughn suggested that Star Wars should do a reboot. We're talking a brand new Luke Skywalker, a brand new Han Solo, a brand new Princess Leia, going back and telling those stories over again. And after he made these comments, Star Wars fans reacted as you would expect.
Move this man!
But here's the thing, guys. I actually think that Matthew Vaughn has a point, and in fact, I think, unfortunately, he might be right.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay, wait, hold on. Before we go any further, we're going to have to chime in on this. Where are you right now in this video, in your mind's eye? Where do you stand on a Star Wars reboot?
I don't know if a reboot is necessary, but I wouldn't be opposed to it, right? My standard of what I'm going to spend my $10.50 on can be very low, depending on the day, right?
Where is the movie $10.50? Because I want to move there.
I told you this before. I've invited you multiple times. We have a $10.50 theater. It's like literally 5 miles. It's delightful. But yeah, I would go see this, man. I am not that attached to it to the point where I wouldn't want to see a revisioning of it. In fact, I thought that's what we were going to get when we got the new sequel trilogy. And not a full reboot like visioning, but I thought we were going to get something that we didn't get. If they told me the only way that we can give you an engaging story is to completely detach ourselves from anything that's happened before, I go check it out. They wouldn't even have to cleverly name it. They wouldn't have to call it Star Wars Legends or any of that shit. I would just go see it.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think he's right, but only if they stop making Star Wars films for a decade.
For a decade.
And then it comes out. But like, if they're gonna keep doing these shows / movies / cartoon connectors, they got to keep making them look like the original.
What you know? When you say look like, you just mean visually, or what do you mean by that?
Because this is what they're doing. Basically, at this point, they're making more stories where you need Leia, you need Han, and you particularly need Luke. And so one of the problems is with the production is it's either going to cost a lot of special effects or just a lot of money in general to make these actors look like the original actors. That's a huge bump. If you just recasted Luke, they wouldn't have to go through all this shit, right?
Yeah, so you're talking about visually. I thought you were talking about like the spirit of it, like the look and feel, like it has to be. You ever hear this term? It's not Star Wars. It's not Star Wars.
Yes, I hear it tossed all around, and particularly about the shows, because no one can agree what Star Wars is. This guy we're watching the video of, this asshole claims Andor isn't Star Wars because he's an illiterate fucking moron.
But didn't you say you liked this guy before? God damn, he's a clone too.
He is a clone. No, he's a human, so he has rights, unlike Fives, who is a clone. But the point is no, here's what I'm saying. I really was against him about the whole Andor thing. He literally says, I'm not going to review this. He saw one episode and he was like, he got enraged and he was like, I'm not going to review this. I refuse to watch any Star Wars because this isn't Star Wars. For starters, that's Andor is like one of the most Star Wars things I've ever seen in my life.
It's actually what Star Wars has been lacking. And you answered the question you asked me by with saying that, man. The reason I wouldn't have any problem with a reboot is because no one gets to determine what a thing is forever, especially not people on the internet, especially not people who have nothing to do with it. It is what the creatives deem it to be. Now, we have the right to reject that. Would you not agree? I don't like the shit. I'm not going to watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, absolutely. And that's so funny because of politics and the way people are. They think we are obligated to watch certain things or be pro certain actors. They're like, hey, don't you for political reasons want to back this actor? I'm like, shut the fuck up. I want to see a good science fiction movie. I don't care what what their politics are. And so, no, I don't have to back anything, and it's fine that he doesn't have to back anything. I just think I think Den of Nerds is one of these prequel dick suckers that I just think are like, I can't get down with. I can't, because they don't know what the originals were like, because they watch them, but they're like, they're not as good as Anakin whining and jerking off with his lightsaber in front of Padme because he's not man enough to physically touch her during sex. Fuck this dude. I don't like him.
With the robot hand?
Yeah, because that's not really him. His robot hand doesn't have a soul, bro.
No, I'm just saying, like, but do you think she let him touch him with the robot hand? Like,
I'm sure it transforms into a dildo. But the point is, I agree with you. Star Wars isn't just one thing. And I'm tired of people. That's what it is. That's what I'm complaining about him. Yeah. He believed it's just the prequels, and if it doesn't live up to this prequel thing, that it's stupid. But Star Wars is Andor.
Right.
Star Wars is Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And Star Wars, it's not Boba Fett. I promise you, it's not Boba Fett. And it is season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian. Right?
There you go with that determinism. My only other caveat for a reboot, if Vince Vaughn is doing it, I'm cool with that, because I wouldn't mind fresh eyes on it. It helps to have someone that hasn't been mixed up in this dynasty for some time. Right?
If they're gonna reboot it, get all new people who haven't been involved. Not even Johnny Favs. I love Johnny Favs, but don't have him involved. Get new people. And to be honest, I actually would want a different tone and energy. Yeah. I would want stormtroopers to look different. I would want Darth Vader's costume to be changed a little.
Yeah, I would want it to make sense, right? And the way they've written it, to try to be like, well, Sidious put him in this armor because it was painful and there was a way for him to control him. Okay, cool. That's consistent with the story.
Some fan wrote that.
But I know why Darth Vader has to kill so many people. Because he looks like that in that dumbass costume. That's why he has to kill motherfuckers on sight, because no one respects him.
No one respects him because he looks like a clown, right? No, but okay, if you were to change one thing in the Star Wars original trilogy, what would you change?
Ooh, just one, you said?
Yeah.
All right. The one thing I definitely would have changed, for sure, would have been the way they confronted Palpatine. And I say it that way because that covers a lot of things that I would want to change.
That you're meaning Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, that last fight was amazing. But I didn't need the prequels or want the prequels to prove how tough Palpatine is, right? I would have wanted to have seen that in that moment. Right?
Oh yeah, because back then, they didn't have the special effects to make an old man fly through the air and fucking kick people's asses.
Exactly. I would have changed that, man. I would have actually. Someone did change it. They changed one of my biggest critiques of the original trilogy. A fan made a film where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fought. That thing they did there, that formula, is what I would have put in all of the original.
Oh, that whole thing. We're in the hallway and stuff like that. Yes, that is amazing.
That type of intensity, that's what's missing from that. And obviously, I wasn't born in the '60s, so I wasn't of age watching this shit. But it seemed silly even when I was a kid. But
what I would have changed is the one thing that I think that really should have changed is in the first Star Wars. Luke should have had some training time and more like chronological time with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi should have actually started training him.
Yeah.
Before he dies, and they should have time together. Maybe we see him going through training, because it doesn't really make sense. He knows the kid like for a day or two at most before he dies, and Luke is later on able to use the Force to blow up the Death Star. And I'm like, that's, and later on, what we learn is you need training.
Yeah.
But that violates that whole thing because it's a movie.
Super fan would say that no, it's because Luke is so strong and he's so raw and powerful in the Force. And then I'd be like, well, wait, what was your problem with Daisy Ridley's character again?
Yes, like, no, exactly, because that was Daisy Ridley too. She too only had a day or two training with Luke.
Right.
And then people were like, and I admit that I don't like that she's able to keep up with Kylo Ren, who's had a decade of training.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any. You admit that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any fucking sense, bro.
Yeah.
I saw a great reimagining, like a fan explanation how they would have done the sequel trilogy. This blew my mind. They were like, I would have kept Poe, I would have kept Daisy, I would have kept Ben, and I would have kept Finn. But what he changed about them was fucking amazing. So check this out. Finn wasn't just some random stormtrooper in his story.
This is Screen Crush. I saw this.
That was great, right? I thought it was great. He's like,
I do like that he's like Gideon's son or whatever.
He's an Imperial Guard that defected, and I'm like, that makes him way more badass, right?
Yeah, but honestly, I think the best prequel redos obviously would be the ones I made, but I haven't put them to YouTube yet. But I would say the ones done with I think I told you what if The Force Awakens was actually good,
right?
And they used AI generated art,
right?
And they're just telling the story. That is the best rendition. I would have done anything to see those movies.
Absolutely.
What I really love is they actually have Kylo Ren's origin in those movies, but you actually get to see it.
Yes.
So like his father dies, and then he's like, I want revenge against Snoke, and so he goes to the planet, and then he encounters the Knights of Ren in the second movie, and they're like, you have to defeat us all to be able to pass, and he defeats them all, and then he takes one of their helmets and he puts it on, and then he goes up the elevator to go confront Snoke. Yeah. I fucking love it. And then he becomes a Darksider, and I loved it. It was great.
That would hit the video. Oh wait, read Matt's comment there.
First, let's do. Oh, the first one he says, and it needs a reboot. Matt is absolutely on the and I admit I do think it needs a reboot. I think a lot of franchises
need reboot.
Maybe even Marvel needs to take a decade off. They need to give us a little time off.
Yeah, and it would suck too, man, because
we're old.
We're old, and not even that. Like I got another at least 20, 25 years of me.
Of watching these types of movies, or
no, 25 years. I can wait 10 years for it to take a break, but what the fuck am I going to watch in the interim? Like this is the culmination.
This is the thing. You need to watch boring shit. You need to watch Little Mermaid 1 through 4 before you can, and then once it comes back, you'll be like Star Wars.
I got to admit, I'm pretty excited for the new Dune movie for sure.
Oh, I'm super excited. Oh, that looks so good. That looks absolutely amazing. RM says they would have had to have very strong plot planned, and J.J. Abrams is not allowed anywhere near it. I feel that.
I agree.
Andor sucked is one of Matt's comment. I would have changed the Ewoks. They're cute, but so not a formidable. Here's what I agree with. You know what I think might be cute? I don't know. This might be a little too camp. What if they keep the cuteness? But in battle, they're super ferocious and just brutally like decapitating.
I mean, that wasn't too far off. They were going to cook and eat these motherfuckers when they came to the planet.
Here's what it is. That's what I think the implication of the Ewoks are. However, it's a kids movie, so they don't show them cannibalizing stormtroopers. But that would have been amazing if you see them like heading them like savages, like ripping their guts out and stuff. Like,
I would love that. But you trying to tell me? I agree with everything you're saying. We all knew that those empty helmets they were playing bongos on, they ate those motherfuckers.
Those are dead stormtroopers right there. And also, they're throwing stones, and they show the stormtroopers, they get hit in the helmet and they fall over when the stone's sent. But you know what it's like to like actually be stoned? Like if you've ever seen like Faces of Death when someone gets hit with a stone, like it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, and that's why none of us believe that if you get hit with a brick, your face just swells up. Right, we understand there's going to be damage done there.
Yeah, there's going to be all sorts of shit. Lady O is in the house. Welcome in, Lady Train. We love you. Welcome aboard. Shaun says they are reboot with Secret Wars. I feel it. Oh, we were going to talk about that too. But yeah, in Marvel, they have set up a reboot option. They get out of jail free card. They could reboot the universe with all this multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And so let's watch a little more of this vid.
That Star Wars is on the decline. Just the numbers themselves speak to this. People disengaging from the franchise overall. Again, most people can acknowledge this. Most people understand that is what is happening. But few people are able to really point at what is the overall problem that is making this happen. And even fewer people have a solution for it. And I watched what Matthew said in the podcast, and I gotta be honest, I really think he brings up a really good point. I think he might actually be right. So I want to watch what he says in the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast with Josh Horowitz, because it's important to get the full.
Okay, and before he goes any further, I gotta say this. I want to make an apology to Denim Nerds. I was very aggressive in shitting on him just a second ago. And so I think normally he's a good guy. I just really disagree with him on Andor. And so, and here's what I'm saying. Even the way Matt Cat down in the chat talked about it, he was at least like a normal level of, he's like, Andor sucked. But this kid, when he shat on Andor, he shat the fuck on Andor, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. They start believing in shit. Hey, remember when there was a weird group of people that tried to make the Force a religion? I think those people became the people who came up with the term, this is not real Star Wars.
Yes,
it's coded language, like when Christians say, bless your soul. That's not what.
That's really means fuck you, asshole. And so and once again, you are right. Me doing that to Boba Fett even though I don't like Boba Fett, I shouldn't call it not Star Wars because actually it's very Star Wars. It's got the Jabba the Hutt twins, right? His grandkids or whatever. And we got the Black Chewie guy and all these things. So
the Black Chewie guy, what's his name, man? That evil Chewbacca.
What's the evil Chewbacca's name, chat? Who knows it?
He's a son of a bitch in the comics, man. He's a real.
But here's what I'm saying: it's just a badly made TV show. But you're right. I should not say it's not Star Wars. It is Star Wars. It's just badly made Star Wars.
But people are passionate about it, man. But yeah, I can see how he gets a little weird. And I love Star Wars theory, man. But there are times where like his nerdum goes up, and I'm like, bro, come on, man.
Yeah, sometimes like I can't vibe because I'm like, this guy's from another planet. But God bless his work. I watch his videos all the time.
He's great guy.
Context. I know we live in the headline reading clickbait era of news and entertainment, and a lot of people just said, bro, you can't reboot Star Wars. What's Matthew Vaughn talking about? But very few people
what are they going to go 20 30 more years without rebooting it? They'll keep CGIing Luke.
Star Wars movie is to play with the characters that I loved. So if they said to me, we'll reboot, do you want to reboot Star Wars and actually have Luke Skywalker, Solo, and Vader, and you do your version of it, everyone would say you're an idiot to try, but that would excite me.
Oh my God! You have a death wish. That's so scary to even contemplate.
And that's sad. That would be the determination.
Like, you're crazy. Like you have a death wish. And look, the reaction from most Star Wars fans kind of bears this out. Like people were super triggered by this. I saw a ton of videos, ton of commentary, thinking he's crazy and everything. But I want to finish what he says here. But like, just listen to what he said, man. It's about the characters that I love.
Black Chrysanthemum is
Luke Skywalker.
That's a cool ass
name. He wants to tell the stories with those characters. And I think there's a part of it here which we have to acknowledge that, like, due to what Disney has done, almost the only way you can go tell a story with all of those characters is to reboot.
All right, and this is another thing, man, where they no shots at you, Den, man. It's just a shot at the statement. What Disney has done. Disney has done damage. But can we stop acting like motherfuckers loved the prequels when they came out?
Oh yeah, we hated them shit.
Like, can we just stop acting like George Lucas didn't play a hand in the demise of his own, like, you know, he's saying the watering down of his own product.
And that's why he sold it, because he couldn't deal with how many people hated on him for it. That he literally said. He was like, I have people who used to love me now hate me. I can't stand this. And so. And the prequels, we literally have to, we make excuses for the prequels. We look back and we're like, yeah, Phantom Menace is good when there's no Jar Jar or battle droids or, Naboo in it. And you're like, well, that's 70% of the movie. And so we make all these fucking excuses for these movies, but they were pretty bad for them, other than Revenge of the Sith. The first two were pretty bad.
Yeah, man.
But I will say this. I'll tell you that I think he's absolutely right. I think Den right now is absolutely right. Because, like, look at this. You know what was wrong with Ahsoka? There's two things that are wrong with it.
Go for it.
And it's that Luke wasn't in any episodes, because at least in the first episode, he should have been there, because we've already established that he's friends with Ahsoka.
Right.
And another one is later on when Hera's getting in trouble, we have C-3PO show up and be like, here's a letter from Princess Leia. You know what would have made that scene infinitely better? If Princess Leia showed up.
Right.
And said, no, I ordered it for her. That would have made the scene amazing.
Yeah, but how would people have reacted to? I think people would have done better with seeing a recast versus CGI. But if they would have sent a fucking blob of a CGI character out there, would have been a bad reaction.
Oh, but I'm saying, you know, that episode of Boba Fett, which is really an episode of Mandalorian.
That's amazing.
That was amazing. That Luke CGI was amazing. I would say the one in season 2 of Mandalorian, the finale, amazing thing. Remember, it made me cry on live stream. I was crying. But I will say it's so obvious that it's CGI, because he barely moves his head. He's like, and that's it. And, like, you know, he's not moving like a real human.
No, that was an amazing. You know, I loved everything up until the point of when we were looking at the bad Facebook deepfake. Right, I loved watching them kill the Death Troopers, all that shit. That shit was boss, and that's a long scene, bro.
That's an amazing scene.
It's great, man.
That is, it's possibly, you know, it's the real end of the Mandalorian, because you know, it was the end, but that was just oh my god, that scene was amazing. So Matt says, I want to say I like Phantom Menace when it came. Of course, I liked it too, because I made excuses for it. But in terms of, like, movies, it's like there's so much kiddie shit in it. It's just so hard to like.
I like what Matt says in the next comment because it pertains to another great character that got shelved.
It says, I think I didn't like the other two because Hayden's acting was not great.
No,
so it wasn't good, but I'm sorry. Revenge of the Sith is like an amazing fucking movie.
All the way up until he said, "You don't know my power."
I'm fine with that too because he's been a whiny bitch this whole time. Why not? Why not in his death scene?
What was the point of upgrading, man? If you're still going to be a fucking tool.
It is unfortunately who Darth Vader is. We have to now realize that, like, oh man, that's crazy. Then he says Ahsoka was bad. We know Matt doesn't like anything really. Matt says, yeah, going forward, if they have any of the OG trio, they need to recast. No one owns a role, and you're fine with a new actor taking the role. I agree. Here's what I'm saying. I'm fine with it, but the majority of the world is not, and they will flip out.
I think we could have recasted T'Challa, and it would have been just fucking fine, bro. You're telling me in hindsight that you wouldn't have fucking rather a recast in Wakanda Forever?
Oh, Wakanda Forever. Don't get me started on a fucking movie. But the fact that they literally kill him off screen to a mysterious virus, which is not even brought up or discussed about what it is so utterly just terrible.
Right.
They had 2 funeral scenes.
Yeah.
That movie is a mess. That movie is absolutely. It was clearly one movie before he died, and then they just added weird parts to it because he died.
And there was no tension for Namor, right? Because there's no real. Okay, in the comics, yeah, Shuri would have had the same level of beef that fucking T'Challa had. Like, you did what you did, and I'm going to kill you the first chance I get. But that's not the MCU, right? There's no tension between them. Everything led to him being mad at Chadwick, being mad at T'Challa. But at any rate, let's play this shit, man.
But wait, hold on, real quick. What do you think of Sebastian Stan as Luke and Millie Bobby Brown as Leia?
I heard you say this before, and obviously I'm with it. I think anything is better that gives you more of what you want to see. But again, no matter how much they give me of that stuff, all roads lead to the same inevitable shit end. And that's what I'm always thinking about whenever at the end of everything I like about a Star Wars show, a Star Wars movie. I was watching Rogue Company the other day. I was like, God damn, this shit is fine. Too fucking bad that it ends with that bullshit we got, man.
Oh my God.
Hit it.
Technically, you could do them in the time of like what Dave is doing right now in the Filoni verse and through Ahsoka. But there seems to be major issues there. I mean, Leia's mentioned in Ahsoka. She doesn't actually show up in Ahsoka, right? Yep. And Luke Skywalker, we haven't seen him since he decided he couldn't train Grogu or whatever and sent him on an Uber ride back to the Mandalorian season proper. So it's a weird situation with Luke, Han, and Leia. But it's interesting that Matthew Vaughn's whole idea of rebooting is really rooted in the idea of wanting to tell those stories with those characters. But let's keep going.
Bond, do you mind Bond?
That's true. That's true.
You know, you asked me who's going to play the next Wolverine.
That's true.
Why are these characters so hallowed that from '77 you can't redo it for a new audience? And that's the story. I mean, Star Wars is the Skywalker family.
Yeah.
All right, and that's where I think they've gone wrong because they've forgot that it's and they've done brilliantly in the TV, but
okay. So I actually disagree with this.
I knew you.
So this I agree that they call them saga films, and so the saga films are the Skywalker family, and I love that it's multiple generations of the Skywalker family. That's great, but why is Star Wars limited to just that? Because I think the Mandalorian's amazing. He's exploring that universe, but he's
absolutely
he doesn't have to have the last name Skywalker, right?
Absolutely. And again, is Star Wars bigger than these characters? And this is where I think he contradicts himself a little bit. Why is this one portion of the story so hollow? That's where it starts, right? Why can't we know more about the universe?
He just said, why are these characters so hollow, but hollowed? However, he then said, but Star Wars is just them.
Exactly. You know what? I'll tell you another thing, Vaughn. I kind of liked the last Kingsman movie, but I didn't love it. So why don't you worry about your own fucking franchise and fix that shit up? No, shout out to him, man. I agree with a lot he's saying about that part.
Everyone's going to go batshit crazy, but let's bring it on, because if you want a new generation, make the movie for them. And the old generation can hopefully make it well enough that they go, okay, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so if you listen to what Matthew Vaughn's actually saying there, he's saying that Star Wars is about the Skywalkers, and that's, in his opinion, where they've gone wrong. And he's
pause it. circular logic, my friend. What were we talking about? The fanboy.
What up, Pony?
What up, Pony? What were we talking about? The fanboyism, right? That deep, intrinsic. I'm stuck on it. He missed everything Vaughn just said, but he honed in on the one part. Like, and then Vaughn, I think Vaughn got it wrong. He's like, it is about the Skywalker saga. Okay, by that logic, does that mean we get reboots of the same 3 fucking movies every 20 years or so? Is that what you want the story to be?
Yeah. What other stories? They're going to run out of stories. And so I do agree with this. I believe Luke has one more trilogy in him, and it's a trilogy that lies before the sequel. It'll be the real sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But like Luke has 30 years of adventuring before he's fucking whatever the fuck Rian Johnson made him. Right. So I think he could do that, but you're right. What are they going to do? They're going to keep redoing the same 9 movies over and over and over again, telling that, oh, that old chestnut. How many times will it be shocking that Darth Vader is his father?
Exactly.
Pony says, can y'all see me? My internet is wild. Yes, we can see you, brother.
He said, they've been doing okay in the TV realm, but they need an epic new movie. And that's what he would do, reboot it. And he's right in a sense that it would be crazy. And people would be like really interested in it. Maybe a lot of people would hate it just from the concept. They'd be like, oh, I hate it, blah, blah, blah. But I want to linger on this whole Star Wars is about the Skywalkers idea, because it's just so bizarre to look at what Disney has done, right? Because it's literally kind of the case that they can't tell more stories with the Skywalkers, at least moving forward through the episodic movies.
Their stories are over. Let's see other people's stories. They literally
killed them all. Leia, dead. Han Solo, dead. I know he's not a Skywalker, but he is a Skywalker by marriage, and he's a huge part of those movies. And his children in Legends, which I'm going to get to Legends in a second. His children in Legends are absolutely Skywalker.
Indeed.
Skywalker blood. That's
See, there it is.
There it is.
But he's dead. I want Legends. That's all this ever boils down to, bro.
Dead. Ben Solo, dead. The last remaining.
They should have made the sequel trilogy.
Rey, who's an adopted Skywalker that actually has Palpatine blood. And here's the thing, man. Like, I know, again, there's a few of you out there that love Rey and want to see Rey's story continue. She's not a Skywalker. If they had made her a Skywalker, perhaps maybe this could have worked. Maybe
I have to admit it would be really cool, a movie with a badass Luke. Yeah, we want to actually see him be a true Jedi and do his shit.
Actually move forward through the story. And by the way, you can even see that through the lensing of Dave Filoni. He's more interested in that time period when the Skywalkers were still around. I mean, he's building up towards an Heir to the Empire movie.
I want to address something RM is saying over here. RM says recasting doesn't mean you have to reboot.
Also,
okay,
valid point.
It is a valid point. However, I'm going to say this. I have no interest in seeing an old Luke or old Leia or anything.
No, I mean recasting them for young characters.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You got to recast them young and see their young adventures.
Yeah.
And so I have no interest for them. They're like, we got some other old guy to play Luke. Fuck that.
Hey, what's our favorite new character on the Ahsoka show? Ray Stevens, what's his name?
Oh, Balin Skull.
Can we just take a little diversion really quickly? Because I don't know if we did this, and if we did, I don't recall it. But let's do it again if we did it. Who is Balin Skull's master, you think?
I mean, I have no idea.
Who would you speculate? And who would you want to be?
Is that known?
No, but it's a huge speculation point. People say, the most popular, I think it's the dumbest one. People think he's Dooku's apprentice.
No. I think he's Plo Koon's.
Oh, that's it. He's on there too, man. And also Mace Windu is on there. And I thought that would have been a fucking cold ass scene if they would have made him describe one of the reasons he has an issue with fucking Anakin and Ahsoka. He was like, your master sent my master. Maybe not that heavy-handed, but wouldn't it have been great if he was like, you find out his stoicism comes from somewhere?
That would be great if the flashbacks of a young Balin Skull being trained
outside the temple and he sees fucking Mace Windu flying out in a ball of lightning. That would be fucking amazing.
Oh wait, here we go. And then Matt says, plus, I personally think using Yuuzhan Vong instead of New Order would have been better. And cool. Yeah, I absolutely agree. That would have been a great trilogy. And you know what? To be honest, I know they're going with Thrawn with this new with these new movies.
Right.
And so I speculate, and I think probably most of you have speculated that the movies are not going to really be about Ahsoka. Even if she is in them, it won't be about her. I think it's going to be about Luke. I think they really are going to give us Luke movies, Luke versus Thrawn or whatever.
Right.
But I would rather Luke versus Luke's Order versus the Yuuzhan Vong. That would be fucking amazing. And they need to get off the dick of the Sith, man. They ride that Sith dick real hard.
Yo, that's how good would it have been if his master was turned out to be Jocasta.
Jocasta knew. Yo, that's the librarian bitch, isn't it? We are such Star Wars nerds. We all know their names and stuff. I was gonna say Plo Koon. Aren't you sensing Plo Koon attitude from Baylan Skull? Mark Hamill was more badass in Fall of the House of Usher than he was in The Last Jedi. Oh my God. Okay, let us get back to it.
Literally a big part of bringing Luke Skywalker back, of having Luke Skywalker meet Ahsoka in the Book of Boba Fett show. So even through his lensing, I think he understands that the Skywalkers are what Star Wars is, and that's what he's interested in.
No, Jocasta was the librarian.
It also kind of reminds me of this thing that's happening right now with a lot of the stuff that Dave Filoni is seemingly retconning in his material, right? There's this viral video going around of Sam Witwer where he's talking about a moment where he had a disagreement with Dave Filoni because something didn't line up perfectly within the canon to the things that he remembered to be actual canon stories. And Dave said,
"Oh wait, actually,
said, no, Sam, it's actually good that these things are different because they're all just stories being told to you at the campfire. And it's fun that there are differences. Maybe
fuck no. No, what the? Okay, so and it's funny because Ahsoka does violate canon multiple times, right? And that just shows Dave Filoni has no respect for it, and so that's his flaw. Because here's what I'm saying: like, no, you don't. You want here's the problem with Marvel. There are not people stopping production, and being like, by the way, this violates canon, because they don't care at Marvel. They're like, we don't care, whatever's clever, going whatever. Star Wars has traditionally actually been that. People have stopped production and said there's a couple of stories about the sets, and people are like, well, Lucas, in your own canon, you did that, and he's like, oh, I did? Okay, let's do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important for the fandoms. What is the point of canon if we're just going to throw it away with every story?
I mean, I don't disagree with you there, man. But the problem is this, man, this circular shit we rebooted, that becomes the new canon. And then if they don't get what they want from that, I'm telling you, man, maybe you're being fair and objective about a reboot, but these people aren't, man. They're as fickle as the wind. And if the reboot doesn't hit whatever fucking headcanon they have going on and what the Skywalkers are actually trying to do, man, then it fucking all falls apart. I'm telling you right now, I'd be fine with a reboot. I would be fine with seeing the Tales of Luke, as I call it in my head, man, like him after the last original movie, man. I would be fine seeing all of that shit. I just wasn't fine with what we got, and that shit sucked.
I fucking agree.
Maybe this one storyteller tells this event in a certain way. Maybe this other person tells the storyteller, and the lightsaber's a different color. Maybe it happens in a slightly different kind of way, but it's all the same story. And in the tradition of storytelling and this sort of Joseph Campbell thing, right? The hero of 1,000 faces. It's not like all of the stories were identical. It's not like the heroes were the exact same hero, but a lot of the story elements, their development, the trials that they had to face, the friendships they made,
ask those Last Jedi loving hoes about the importance of canon.
Faces is about. That's what the Joseph Campbell monomyth hero's journey is
that movie
about. And so within that same logic, rebooting the actual Skywalker story, like the Luke finding out about Vader, taking on that burden, training to be a Jedi and defeating the Empire and redeeming his father in the process, that story can be told a million different ways. And I think there is some truth here.
I actually
allowing that story for a new generation to happen. I know it sounds blasphemous to Star Wars fans, and I'm going to talk about maybe a way they can sort of do this without actually like rebooting things in just a second here. But it's interesting that Matthew Vaughn talks about Wolverine and the new Wolverine, and they're talking about the new James Bond, and he's right. And I also just want to say, I've been reading through the Fate of the Jedi books, okay? I was obsessed with the Abeloth theories during Ahsoka and had a lot of fun with Ahsoka because of the theories that Dave kind of puts into that show and a lot of the myth and the lore of Star Wars. I thought it was fantastic, right? So I went back and I'm reading now this 9-book series all about sort of Abeloth and these really wild concepts that were done in Legends, okay? But reading through those books, man, you just get this feeling that Disney just really screwed it up because Han Solo is awesome in that first book. That's the one I just recently read. Luke Skywalker is amazing. His son, Ben Skywalker, is amazing. And it's incredible to see Luke be a father and a Jedi master to his son, Ben Skywalker, who's just like this young kid that kind of acts like Luke, but he's got red hair like Mara Jade. It's fascinating. Jaina Solo is absolutely incredible, and her relationship with Jag Fell is fantastic. And Han and Leia are so good together. There's this whole plot in the first book where they're trying to save Kessel, and there's like some weird, maybe Jedi-like, celestial-like technology that's on Kessel, and so you're combining Han's incredible piloting and know-how of like explosives and just all the tech savvy stuff that he knows with Leia's ability to communicate to these sort of Force devices via her connection to the Force. It's awesome to see them working together. And basically what I'm saying is, I was like, man, this really is Star Wars. Like, this is what it is. And it's a damn shame that Disney decided to kill these characters off.
I'm going to be honest, like, I agree with, I'm such a dork, and I agree with him. I honestly feel like the book series when I was younger, when I was a kid, like the Expanded Universe, was the best Star Wars I've ever nutted on.
I'm not mad at you for saying that. I'm not mad at you for saying that, Matt. But in that last part, I am mad at you for saying like, just throwing the book down to the ground.
They were just such great times, and like they have yet to replicate that. And it's true, The Mandalorian is great, and I love it. I love The Mandalorian. It's very Star Wars, even though we're not trying to avoid these statements, but I will say watching Luke, Leia, and Han go on more adventures was just priceless. Yeah, that's what the books are able to give me.
Does he go on more in this? Because I stopped it after Vaughn, so I was like, that's what I came for.
That's fine. We can move on to another topic because we have Star Wars the fuck out right now. Mantis, I love those books. So good. I never nutted on my books, though. No, I never nutted on the books. I nutted from them. Totally different thing. What else do we have on the docket?
So my favorite punching bag, and this is it for me. This is it for me because do you know who Joe Budden is? Are you familiar with his work?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yes, I know who he is.
And you're aware that he has a female co-host by the name of Melissa Ford, who is a retired video vixen.
Yes.
She's of Canadian descent, I believe.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I believe that she is biracial, according to some of the standards that are set out by today. But a lot of people give her a lot of slack.
He said by the standards.
A lot of people give her a lot of slack because they say she brings nothing to the Joe Budden podcast. But in actuality, I think she brings quite a bit to the Joe Budden podcast. In fact, I think she might be the only person there with a formal education. So right there, she's bringing a level of intellect to the conversation. Now, she's going to talk about the Jada Pinkett situation. What's really important right now, Mantis, is that I qualify this for all the mouth breathers. In no way is Melissa Ford a pick me, right? She's all about her quote unquote modern woman ways, right? She's a boss. She's an entrepreneur. She believes in the things that appeal to that side. I said that clearly, right? But what she's about to say right now is very, very telling. And I think it is a pinnacle of people being sick with something. When one of your own who would normally show up to your seminar goes, shut your mouth. Just shut it and stop talking. That's what I got from this.
Let's see what's going on here.
Jada Pinkett Smith is on a press tour because she's coming out with a memoir. I don't know what the title is because it keeps getting lost in all the shit that she is spewing, and she is on everything from Hoda Kotb on Good Morning America. She's doing all the smoke. Like, she's everywhere, and she's telling us all the stuff we don't want to know. TMI. Like, it's so TMI.
That should be the name of the book.
It should be called TMI. Yeah. Take us out of the group chat. You know what I'm saying? So she said everything from the fact that her and Will Smith have been divorced or separated since 2016, which is kind of like a justification for her little entanglement.
It makes him look like such a fucking beta. It's crazy.
But they never had a chemistry or anything. I'm like, okay, girl. And that Chris Rock asked her out or something like that. Like, and that was what the cause
amidst the rumors
of the slap and et cetera, et cetera. So, and that she was
not the slap.
No, it was pre-slap.
Pre-slap, right, exactly. But that she was also shocked that Will Smith slapped him, thought it was a skit, but then was also surprised when he referred to her as his wife. Because we had not been using.
Okay, for starters, they go to the fucking awards ceremony. I'm sorry, I'm going to calm down, guys. They go to the fucking awards ceremony together. What did she think they were going as? Buddies?
What matters? Why are you so close-minded? Are you not up on this? They are spiritual life partners together. And they are walking this path together.
Come on, bro. Come on. Are you serious right now?
Listen, I'm just speaking to you in the spiritualist way, man. I thought maybe it would be soothing for you. Do I need to put the lo-fi music back on so I can really make my point? There are two kindred souls wrapped in a ball of turmoil in which they manifest their better selves on a day-to-day basis. If that sounded like a bunch of words thrown together, that is the spiritual view.
Matt Cat says, do you guys think that this bald bitch's book is going to be a hit and make the New York Times top 10?
I hope not. But I don't think people care enough to buy it.
Well, she's on. This is the question that I'm asking because they are saying she's doing so much publicity for this. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are going to buy this. Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing, right, man? I think Jada herself and her publisher might be overestimated how interested people are in her side of the story beyond the hot clips.
It's true. She has the weakest part of the story because, like, in terms of the slap, we absolutely want to hear from the guys who got into the fight, right?
Right.
And we all know how men act with women, and so she probably knows the least of what's going on about this fight.
Right. Listen, man, her whole story is about another person. Her whole story.
It's always been like that. She was writing the coattails of Tupac, writing the coattails of Will Smith. She's never really been a knockout success on her own. She's been an actress, don't get me wrong, but she's never been the main attraction of her thing. Will Smith could have, if we're talking about celebrity marriages, he could have married much more famous women and got much more out of that.
Yeah.
Than
her
this bitch.
window ended what set it off. Let's be real. Like, other than Set It Off and Jason's lyric, are you telling me that Demon Knights, you saw Tales of the Crypt Demon Knights because you heard Jada Pinkett was going to be in it? You're telling me that you give a fuck about whatever movie? Bro, I didn't even care if she was in The Matrix. I didn't care.
She's barely in The Matrix.
Hit that shit.
Yeah.
In those terms. Girl, if you're going to show up on red carpets,
she's saying what I'm saying.
hand in hand with the man that we know you've been married to, you have children with, we don't know the inner workings of what the fuck is going on behind then we have the expectation that you are still acting as,
of course, this motherfucker thinks you're married,
as husband and wife.
Of course,
this, whatever this is called, apology tour, blah blah blah, whatever, had me thinking about.
This is the opposite of an apology tour. I'm pretty sure.
But it's shit on you tour.
So this is what it had me thinking about is the difference between vulnerability and self-exposure and the reasons why people do it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I just had to say my truth. No, you fucking didn't. You actually didn't. And that whole term of my truth is such bullshit.
That's why Steve loves this video.
It drives me crazy.
When people sing that shit about my truth, if it's your truth, keep it. You went on.
You killed it. She want to raise, yo.
You really trying to get that.
My cash app is.
Tell him.
She won a bonus. That was fire. You're finally attacking. Yeah, get up. Kick Jada Pinkett Smith back in. Here, take my boots. I think it's disgusting, Joe. Enough. Let Tupac rest. We don't give a fuck.
Let
man.
Will rest.
No, well, he's up. We don't give a fuck. It's like to watch a woman that we all like. When I was young, I watched a lot of movies that she was in, and we had crushes on her.
What's a lot of movies?
We got to talk over this, and maybe we should
y'all
show
no
the
longer
video
owe
at this
Jada
point
Pinkett
because
Smith.
Joe has been known to copyright strike people. So
Okay, so what is a lot of movies?
what in regards to Jada Pinkett?
Yeah, he's like, I watched a lot of movies growing up with her. She was not in that many movies.
I don't even think she had that long of a recurring role on what the hell is this shit called? Not Do the Right Thing. The show, the school of the black school, a spinoff of the Cosby's.
A Different World. A different world.
Yeah, I don't even think she had that big of.
She was
like,
not a big part of that at all.
Yeah, she was just like the troubled teen. Yeah, man, I can't think of anything that makes me think that I would care if Jada Pinkett's career took off again. And in fact, the fact that she did the fucking Cleopatra shit, that should have been the nail in the coffin. And I think it was. Also, there are rumors that she's completely blackballed from Hollywood. Unsubstantiated, but shout out to Melissa Ford for this, man, because it was nice to hear someone clearly unpack it who has. You can't accuse her of being biased, that she has latent misogyny or any of this shit. It's like, yo, at what point do you just stop digging up a dead man and beating down a man that loves you? Will Smith may actually be helplessly in love with this woman. I think he's helplessly codependent, but she was at some award show in Baltimore in which she was being honored. And he got up on stage and said, you got to learn how to love a person no matter what. And I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? But then I realized battered women sound this way. Emotionally abused people. They make up some spiritual justification of how you just got to love a person where they're at. And I'm like, what? What are you saying?
And when he did his response, I forget who was interviewing him. When he did his response to her revealing that they were separated, and they're like, "So you were separated?" He's like, "Yeah." He's just like, "But you ever notice what a beautiful and amazing woman she?" And he's like talking this shit, and I'm like, "No one wants to hear that, bro." She played you for a chump. Yo, I mean, obviously, you know what a beta he looks like.
Yeah.
The fact that he was saying, keep your wife's, my wife's name out your mouth, and this chick does not even consider them married, makes him look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and 100%. Never forget that he was not there to honor himself. He was receiving an award for a portrayal of someone else's father. And now that moment is synonymously tied to a man showing out for a woman that didn't deserve it. We first covered this on Fanboy Modeling School, and my original opinion, and it's still the same, yes, I would smack fire out of a dude's mouth for disrespecting my wife. But my caveat was not if my wife was Jada Pinkett or behaved like Jada Pinkett. It wouldn't happen because she wouldn't be my wife anymore. Like, even according to Christianity, she would be my estranged wife. Like I'd be sleeping, right. I'd be sleeping in the other parts of the house. Like, I'm still with you for the Lord's sake, but yeah, me and you. At any rate, man, I just quick snippet, man, on that one.
So he says, Matt Cat says, you forgot her Oscar-worthy performance in Gotham. Oh man. At any point. Do you feel bad for Will Smith? You don't. He says, I don't. You don't?
Not anymore, man, because he's got to pick better, bro. Like, I'm going to hold him to the same standard that I hold other people, man. And my standard shouldn't mean shit to Will Smith, but the fact of the matter is, man, like, when is enough for you? If Will was my friend, he'd be in that point where he's sending me text messages. And if one day it's a revelation and then the next day he backslides into, maybe I was just being hasty in the way I was talking about it. I'm like, yo, bro, man, you officially get the do not respond. That's where we would be, like, as friends. I would not respond.
You wouldn't happen to have caught in my my Audilis Hot 95 take on this a couple of days ago, like last week.
No, sir, I did not catch it, but I would love to hear it.
So I actually stated something totally different idea about Will Smith, but I actually pointed out, and I thought of young Roy. You know? So for those who don't know, the Mantis birth name is Roy. My mother didn't name me Mantis. I'm Roy. And so I took it from the perception of young Roy. And so I have to say, this is horrible to say. I'm going to sound like such an idiot, but Will Smith was a kind of a hero of mine when I was younger.
Yeah, mine
too. So think about it this way: when I was real young, he was doing Fresh Prince, and so that's fun and games and cuteness. But you learn all sorts of things from that adventure, right?
Yeah.
You know, it was morality, it was racial tensions, it was all sorts of things you were learning from him. And then as we got older, he became an action hero. And so and I was like, oh my God, the funny guy from the hood is now fucking an action hero. This is fucking incredible. And I was loving it. And so all I've seen so far with Jada Pinkett, Slapgate, all this crazy shit is the fall of one of my heroes.
Yeah. And that was why we all took it. And when I say we all, I guess, let me just say you and I. That's why I took it so wrong, man. Like so hard when this shit started happening. Because also I was looking at another thing, which I'm not like someone out there like screaming this from the rooftops, because I am in an interracial relationship. And before all you weirdos come for me, my wife is not, in fact, white. She's Colombian. But here's the crazy thing.
I thought you were going to say she's Chinese.
She was. And then I made a clone of her, and since she didn't have it sold, I grafted some skin.
You grafted a Colombian soul on her.
Okay. But here's the thing: like they represented something that a lot of people, they were like black excellence, black love.
He was like,
yeah. And until we knew she was like crazy. I mean, there were always weird rumors, allegations of them being swingers and the open relationship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When all this stuff started happening, my pain, the most pain I felt for Will was the very first time he was on Red Table Talk, when he's sitting with her mom, and Willow, and he's talking about how he's failing his wife and how mommy cried, referring to Jada, to Willow, for 6 months straight. And I was like, God damn, Will, what'd you do, man? But now I realize she probably was faking tears this whole time. She faked tears. She's one of those emotionally.
Is it not obvious that she's a sociopath?
It wasn't obvious then to me, right?
Then it wasn't, but like now it's clear.
And then Willow recounted a memory she had as a child with her dad. Okay, maybe he screwed up when did you know Willow was like a little pop star when she was a kid? She had a hit song.
A hit song. they bought that #1 status. I vaguely remember that.
Okay, so check this out. So Will Smith's great regret with his daughter is that he may have pushed her too hard. In the pursuit of making his child excellent, he pushed her too hard. It's a common tale, right? But then Willow recounts a tale where Will Smith was kind of sitting at the table one day, surrounded by these people, him, Willow, and Jaden and Jada. And she said, "Oh, Daddy's upset because he doesn't have a normal family." And now thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, exactly, bro. I'm like, how dare you disrespect the man that fucking... You understand what I'm saying?
That breaks my heart. And you know what's absolutely horrible? And people pointed this out. Matt Walsh pointed out, I think Candace Owens did too. When you look at Will Smith talking to people about it, if you zoom in on his eyes, you see him hiding, either holding back tears or just being broken.
Yeah.
You can tell when a man is just like, he's had it, he's wasted, he's fucked up. Yeah, and he's saying something that the words coming out of his mouth is not matching the face he's making. Even at the Red Table Talks, he looked like he was going to cry.
He looked like someone.
He was trying to make a joke out of entanglements, but you could tell he was going to cry.
Yeah, bro, he's trying. It's what people do when they're in an immense amount of pain and they get exposed to some new information. Like when someone becomes a Scientologist, or they read Eckhart, whatever his name is, his self-actualization books, and they start regurgitating that. And yes, dare I say, when people hide in Christianity to hide from their trauma, you sound crazy. You're saying things out of context. You're saying things that don't relate to the topic, and you're using words that you probably don't understand to try to explain away the clear and evident pain. No, sir, we do not believe you, Will, that you would drink a cup of coffee, and every time you drank it, you look like you're in emotional pain. No one buys that, bro. No one buys that. that. Absolutely not.
Matt Cat says, "Where is the male excellence?" Not coming from Will Smith, that's for sure.
Not coming from him, man. Sad.
No, that's absolutely not what's happening over there. Matt says, "I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth." Yes, we remember Will Smith's kids are horrible. They're horrible actors. They're horrible pop stars.
Right.
It's Empire all over again.
Fuck yeah. Jesse Smollett is in rehab, by the way. I know you care about that, but Jesse Smollett is in rehab.
That fucking guy, he's a narcissist, so he's never gonna go away. He's always gonna have some sort of crazy thing to come forward.
Moving away from absolute diarrhea. Ding 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 ding. Spider-Man 2 proper, the video game for PlayStation 5 dropped. Obviously, I pre-ordered my copy, got it, played the first mission. You want a little spoiler? Can I give you a little spoiler? It's not big.
Is it about Mary Jane?
No, it's not about Mary Jane.
Because I know that's controversial.
Yeah, that's that. But it's a little spoiler, man. They fight Sandman in the beginning of the game, and it's fucking epic. It is absolutely.
Oh, it's
epic.
good.
Yeah, it's very good, man. The game is great. That first fight scene of them premiering new tech, the web gliders and shit like that.
I hear. So I saw. I think this was heavy spoilers. He said he's been playing all weekend, and he said. He's like, Spider-Man, you should call it Glider Man. Because he says now that gliding is in it, you glide all the time. You almost never use your webs.
That is first categorically untrue. You have the option to glide or use your webs. You know what the problem is? People don't want to take they don't want to take
but the point is you shouldn't be able to glide as much as equal to your webs.
That's a huge critique of the game. Like, people are shitting on it because it's like, all you do is glide the web mechanics in the game on PS2, and I'm like, shut the fuck up and go play the PS2 game, man. If you love that shit so much.
It's like Arkham Knight in the Arkham series. Once they introduced you being able to summon the Batmobile, the game was all about the Batmobile.
Oh, absolutely,
and not about anything else.
Yeah, I've been having a great time with the game, man. I'm not going to stream it, and here's the reason why. I want to sit down and fucking enjoy it. You guys will get me back for fucking the God of War expansion or something like that. But yeah, I'm having a great time.
I feel you. When you're streaming, you're not fully in the game. You're not fully in the stream.
Yeah, and I'm fucking rage quitting. One that you weren't around for this, but the epic rage quit on Star Wars.
That one boss. I remember. I watched that. I did watch that. So here's what it is. I didn't comment a lot. What I did, when I could watch your streams, I did watch your streams.
But that's horrible. 46 tries in one stream.
Yeah, there's that one guy in that weird place that's in the air or whatever. Yeah, no, I remember it was driving you nuts. You were about to kill somebody.
Yeah, but I love it, man. I'm sorry you're not gonna be able to play it. It's on PC and PS5 exclusively, but it's good so far.
Arm says, "Is the MJ controversy just that she's fugly in this one?
She was fugly in the other one."
Yeah. No, they do something story-wise from her that isn't found in any version of Spider-Man anywhere, and people are like, "Why did you do this?" You want me to tell you what they do?
No, if it's that, please don't tell me.
It's not that. It's a comic booky thing.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'll play it through.
Yeah, I'll play it through. But people are like mad about it. If we're looking for more drama to talk about,
yes.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know a man, or a creature, should I say, known as Shaun King?
What is the spool's nickname? What do they call him?
What?
He has a nickname. All right, what is Shaun King's nickname, man?
Yo, they call him Talcum X. Okay, so if we can... I feel horrible repeating that, actually. I actually feel like I'm a bad mulatto. I don't have my own people's back. So before we go any further, we need to talk about who Shaun King is and what his whole deal is. So he is I don't know if he's Black Lives Matter per se, but he's black activist who does all sorts of things talking about black activity. If you look at him, you'll notice he's somehow even whiter than me. And so according to him, even though his on the books parents are both white,
Yeah.
He claims his mother had an affair with a black man. Now, when you look at him, it's possible, maybe, possibly. He's been running the race script for a minute.
Wait, read RM's comment. The other nickname.
Oh no. Oh, Crooker T. Washington. Yeah, people have strong feelings for him about him because, like, for instance, anytime he gets on the race script, he then starts selling T-shirts. Like, he'll be like, "This is my T-shirt. Support blackness."
Yeah,
by buying this T-shirt.
One black dot on a white shirt.
so apparently, this dude tried to get into the Israel-Palestine conflict, and I don't even know the details. I just saw the video and I said, we need to watch this. Now, for RM and people who don't know, Martin Luther Cream. RM, if you don't know, the video we're about to watch is Anthony Brian Logan, the classiest black man on the internet. So.
Oh man, this guy. I do love those flags in the background. I mean, it's pretty cool.
He keeps it real.
It's about your own race. You're liable to lie about anything. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Shaun King getting caught up in yet another alleged scam, this time involving American hostages over in Gaza. Now, this is really low. I mean, sir, you're talking about a conflict between Israel, Gaza, Hamas. You got all kind of bombings going on, and you want to try to scam that? It's bad enough you scamming the whole Black Lives Matter and things like that, allegedly. That's bad enough. But this, I mean, you got to be really low. Now, in case you don't know who I'm talking about, or you want a brief refresher, let's go to the screen. You see the man right there. That is Shaun King. I mean, a white man who, for a very long time,
right? Like, look at him. No, here's what I'm saying. This is me talking shit about other mulattoes, and there probably isn't one way to mulatto or light skin, right? But he doesn't even have big lips. I'm just saying. Saying.
If I saw this cat on the street, I would assume light skin, Puerto Rican, or Italian. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel that.
Pretended to be black. I'm not really sure if he's still hanging on to that whole thing, trying to involve himself in pro-black, black, pro-whack issues. I'm not quite sure if he's still doing it, but we all know who this is. Shaun King, a.k.a. Talcum X, a.k.a. Martin Luther King, a.k.a. Martin Luther Cream, a.k.a. Hughlis Newton, a.k.a. Huey B. Luting. That is your man right there, Shaun King. Now,
RM knew them all. That's so good. Shout out to RM for knowing them all.
This alleged scam that he is now involved with. If you want to read this article and see more details that I've not shown in the video, all my links and everything will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But you see the headline here. This is on Post Millennial, by the way. Disgraced BLM activist Shaun King says he helped free American hostages released from Gaza and knows them personally. I should just say they have never heard of him. This is really pathetic. This is low. I mean, I've seen some low things that some of these grifters, scammers, con artists, whatever you want to call them, I've seen some bad things, but this is right at the very top. The subhead says the family reports they didn't know who King was until after the release. They have never heard of this guy before. They don't know who he is, but he's saying he helped them get out and he knows them personally. So somebody lying, and I don't think
this guy clearly has some real issue, like some real crazy man issues. Because
does he have crazy man issues, or is he an opportunist and a schemer?
But here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. He is an opportunist and a schemer, but like he's like one of those people who lie so often they don't realize how stupid their lies are. Right. So he doesn't realize that it is searchable and we can look up whether he has any connection to these people or a link to Hamas. How did he negotiate them? Hamas knows who the fuck Shaun King is? They're over there in Gaza.
Wait. Let's assume that this is true. If he has that level of reach, did he not just out himself? Right? Would he not now be on the most watched list? Like, wait, how do you know these people? How are you able to negotiate?
Right. What is it? That's so it's totally bizarre on every level.
I think it's these hostages. I think it's this guy who has been proven to be a liar, an obvious white man. I'm talking about straight from the Mayflower, straight from the Nordic region, straight from Ireland, straight from the potato famine. This guy is a whole white man talking about
is the age.
Black.
He's the
Clark
white.
Kent, Superman, T.I., Clifford Harris hairstyle. That's enough to become a black person. Totally ridiculous. But anyway, let's get into the information. So on Saturday, left-wing activist Shaun King took social media to claim that the family of Natalie Rainan, one of the American hostages freed by Hamas, were supporters of his and that he helped to facilitate her and her mother's release. However, the family says they had no idea who King was until after the release. So on the Instagram post, King wrote, Hamas has just freed the teenager Natalie Rainan and her mother. I'm grateful, he noted. As I said last week, Natalie and her family have been supporters of mine and protested police violence in America alongside us, because remember, that was his whole thing, going out there and inciting riots for Black Lives Matter and Blackity Black pro-Black initiatives, allegedly. That's been his whole thing. That many.
So clearly, if there was, you would have presented it, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Is there any proof that they were supporters of his and they were out at rallies? Is this going to come out later that they were at the same rally and maybe they believe some of the same things that he believed? Like, is there
as of right now, there seems to be no connection to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
many of us may know Shaun King from. Let's continue. I'm also thankful for the Qatari government for helping to negotiate this. So he's really getting in there, huh? Dozens of us worked frantically behind the scenes to help make this possible. I spoke to Natalie's family this afternoon, and they're anxiously awaiting more updates. Now, I want to know what kind of clout Shaun King has to negotiate terms of U.S. hostage release in the Israel-Hamas conflict.
Pause it. And if he has this level of clout, why didn't he get his homegirl out? The basketball player that was in Russia.
Right. Like, what is going on? This is insane. This is why I think that it's insane. And so this is some sort of personality disorder, because it's both a grift, but also he doesn't, you know, when someone's so crazy, they tell you lies and you're like, well, that's not true at all. And they don't realize how stupid their lies sound to sane people. And sane people are too polite to just be like, you're a liar. We just kind of eye roll them. We're like, yeah, sure, bro.
Oh, you mean like all the people you've ever met in your entire life that have somehow been actually, no. Never mind.
He didn't want to go there. He did not want to reveal what the
I realized I was about to take a hard shot and I didn't want to do it.
Hard shot at people we know. It happens. Growing up the way we grew up, we know a lot of shady people in our lives. Right? So,
all right.
Huh.
To speak to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Hamas leadership, the Qatari government, how was he able to get that done? How was he able to get a thing done that American military intelligence can't do? See, right there, what he's saying doesn't make any sense, but we'll continue. After the post, journalist Una Lipzan refuted King's assertion in a long thread on X, Twitter. She said, it's important to clarify. The family of Natalie and Yehudit Rainan says they have no idea who Shaun King is, and they first found out about his existence after their release and reading the post. She noted that King discussed Natalie's half-brother, Ben, and said, Yuri, the father of Ben and Natalie, told me tonight that he had no idea about this referral and that the family simply turned everywhere to anyone who could help. Lipzan noted that King is a known hater of Israel and that Judith is part of the Shabbat community in her city, and according to her associates, it is ridiculous to say that she's anything other than a lover of Israel. She claims that King's goal is to raise doubts to the point that people have already determined that they support Hamas. So the person that he's talking about is writing in Hebrew. This is an Israeli. or maybe an American who now lives in Israel. But when this person was released from Gaza, from Hamas custody, she was released into Israel proper. Okay, not back to Texas or somewhere, back to Israel. All right, so what is Shaun King even talking about? Since Libsyn's report spread across the internet, King proceeded to release private messages between himself and Ben, and he recorded all of his conversation with the family. So now, really, now we're going to put out private information. We're going to put out DMs. So what are we trying to do? Are we trying to, listen, are you trying to help hostages get freed because you want to do it because you're a humanitarian, or are we trying to get clout? You're releasing messages and things of this nature and recording conversations. This guy, I mean, like I said, you got to be really, really low. But let's continue. So, statement from Ben Rainin, brother of Natalie Rainin, the young hostage that was freed by Hamas. Ben, a longtime supporter of mine, was an American spokesperson for the family and the first reach out to me for help on October the 9th, followed by a thread of receipts and records. Now, see, you're saying something different.
Yeah.
If you said that you knew...
This is right up there with the fucking Trump supporters at 4 a.m. attacking you while you're getting a Subway sandwich on the south side.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And so, what is the nature of this? So, so he's trying to submit receipts, but really, what they even just said in the early in this is that the family reached out to anyone who came to them because they were hoping someone could do something. Yeah. But can he prove that he actually negotiated anything? Or did he just share a text with the father?
Yeah. Oh, can we get those DMs? Who'd you DM? How'd you get in contact with him?
You know what I really want from him? You know what I really want from him? And ultimately, it does not fucking matter. Yo, I will offer this to anybody. Anyone who questions the fat mantis's blackness, I will give a blood test. The question is, will Shaun King give a blood test? Why doesn't he do genealogy and show us his percentage of makeup?
Bro, I'll never forget when you covered that Netflix show Black AF, and that fucking human being came for you in the comment section like, your experience as a I'm like, shut the fuck up and get off the internet. Like,
well, here's what I'm saying. Yeah, there are a lot of people coming for light skins. They really hate. Yo, I love Young Ripper. Young Ripper makes fun of you light skins all the time. When he ends up seeing a picture of someone who's critical of him, he goes, it's a light skin. I knew it was coming from a light skin.
Yeah, he's such a troll. He was like, "What you gonna come for me? I'm with a strong black woman." I'm like, this fool is crazy.
So here's what I'm saying. I understand the why someone would attack a light skin.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't claim to have the whole black experience. I was deprived that.
Okay, but have you ever claimed to negotiate the release of terrorists behind?
I saved at least three abducted people from terrorists just this week. It was with Hezbollah, and it was with the IRA and the MFCU, whatever that is.
RM is crazy.
It says, I have my ancestry DNA results on my phone just because Shaun King and Rachel Dolezal.
Oh, imagine if you have to present. What if shit gets so woke, right? But it goes so far left, where you have to present your ancestry DNA everywhere you go before people let you talk. You have to qualify the percentage, qualify every view.
If you're too white, you can't speak.
Yeah. Or if you're too male or cis male. Could you imagine?
Oh my God, too heterosexual. Oh. I fucked too many bitches to be allowed to speak my mind. But you blue-haired freaks who don't know what gender you are, you can speak. So if Bill Gates has his way, that is what's going to happen. So a lot of people are like, what? If you ever heard people accuse Bill Gates of being a eugenicist, the whole thing is that what he wants to do, and people call this the mark of the beast, he wants to put a microchip in our arms, and it will have all our medical records, and it will have our genealogy, and it will have all those stats, and someone will be able to scan it. Doctors and or people, maybe police, could scan it, and they'll be able to see everything about you. And that's what he thinks that the future of medicine should be. However, I mean, think of the implications.
Yeah, it's crazy. When people have that same type of opinion and then pull out their phone and Google that in front of me, I'm like, do you realize you just stepped into shit right now? You're complaining about the mark of the beast and all your information being out there. But hey, man, check this out. Here's something that's really, really weird about this shit right here, man. How far have we gone as a society where this type of stuff has to be reported on and fact checked? Think about it. What is Shaun King's actual profession? What did he go to school for?
Oh, these grifters don't have jobs.
Where did he work? What qualifies him to be such an authority on these issues? Was he a sociologist? Has he marched in any campaigns that have had any impact on the community?
Look at those chicks who started Black Lives Matter, or no, they didn't start it, but they ended up becoming like the main ones.
Yeah.
You know, who ended up embezzling all that money. They had no records before. They had no actual resume for doing what they're doing at this point. It was absolutely grift, and people just fell for it. Mm-hmm. People were like, "Look at these black women. They must know what they're talking about. Give them the money." Hand them the money. And that's another thing. Once again, I'm going to shit on you, liberals, white allies, who are like, well, she's black. She must know where to spend the money. I'm not going to send it to a reputable source. Let's just hand it over to this chick.
Wait, so you don't think if your mom was given $1 trillion to fix America's problems as a black woman, she'd be able to figure that out innately?
My motherfucking man, you would never see her again. You would never see her again. You know what's you know what's really funny?
What?
We got some magazine. I don't know which one it was, but it had Kamala Harris on the cover. Okay. And so I looked at it and I said, "Where's she been?" And my mom says, "What?" And I said, "Where's Kamala Harris been? She got elected and I haven't seen this bitch." I didn't say bitch because I got smacked, but I said we haven't seen her.
Oh my God.
And she goes, "She's off doing important things." And she says, "Don't." And I reached for the magazine. She said, "Don't touch it. I'm going to frame it." And so, basically what I have realized about my mother is pro anything black. And so even if a black person is not doing their job, my mother's pro that.
Do you think she's pro black enough to put aside her Caribbean beefs towards other Caribbeans and other black people?
Oh no. You should see how she speaks to Jamaicans. You should see how she speaks to Jamaicans. It's horrible. It's horrible. I told you about the whole Christmas tree thing.
No.
We went to Home Depot and we were getting a Christmas tree, and so the guys who were taking the tree and putting it on our car were Jamaicans, and she said to them, she says, "Do it good. I know you guys like to be lazy." And then she's watching them. She's watching every little thing they're doing, and I'm like, "What are you doing, Mommy?" She's like watching them. You have to watch them to make sure they do good stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, like this is some Caribbean hate.
Oh my goodness! This
is some Caribbean hate. Matt says Bill Gates is pure evil. He is no soul. Also, I agree. He's like a clone. He's probably a clone. He's a clone of the greatest Mandalorian mercenary that ever lived.
Bro, I'm telling you, he probably has many clones. And when you get to the boss fight against Bill Gates, you're going to have to fight weaker versions of him to get to him.
And then finally, when you get to him, he's 9 feet tall and just has muscles, but it's his little crazy nerd head. He's like, ah! Oh, God. RM says he has a pastor for a church he created for like a minute. But that was a scam. Yeah, so apparently he's accused of many scams. Here at Fanboy Modeling School, we're not saying we have any evidence that Shaun King is a scammer. Just all we know is that people have claimed that he's a scammer. A lot of people.
Well, if we're being fair, we don't have any proof to remove that stigma or to place it around his head. We can't prove that he isn't, and we can't prove that he isn't.
All I know is that I would like to see his genealogy report because I don't think he's.
Yeah. Bro, great episode, man. Another great episode.
This is another great episode. We do the best podcast on the planet. Yeah. I'd like to thank everyone who's in the chat right now. You guys, you've been coming in and out throughout the entire thing, but you guys have been making it magical. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Steve, you got anything to promote, my man?
Obviously, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. for your drive home or otherwise. You got Throwback Spin with Steve. That's me on Spin 95. Powered by Audioless, greatest radio platform that you ever heard of, folks. Make sure you check out my man, the Fat Mantis, also Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. for your drive home or otherwise on Hot 95, man. Here's the thing. We need your support for this endeavor. Audioless is not Spoon. I want to clear this up right now. Audioless is not another streaming service. Unfortunately, there is no chat. What it is good old-fashioned radio, right? And a lot of talented people working their asses off for your enjoyment. Come through. Come check it out, man. Listen to music. Have some conversation with us. You can always get at us on, you can get at me on IG at the Hold Up TV or Steve Spins at Audioless.com if you want to request a topic.
Or you can hit up the Fat Mantis on Instagram at _fat_mantis. Right. Or you hit us up in our Discords. Both our Discords are down there right now. And yes, Audioless is the best way to do it. We may have competing shows, but the good point is they're both 4 hours long, and you can tune into either one of them. Also, I'm going to have to tell you this right now. You guys are fans of the Fanboy Modeling School, and fans of the Fanboy Modeling School tend to go to other streams. And I'm going to be honest with you, Conversations That Matter and Rogue Planet, both of our solo endeavors, will be returning, and they're going to be in a format and an app that may surprise you. Yeah. But I've had such a good time. Love you so much. This is the Fat Mantis, now in HD, signing off. And here's my man,
Steve, real name, no gimmicks, also in HD.
And down in the chat, our final chats. Matt says, "Yeah, great stream, guys. I can't wait for the next one. Yo, we love you, brother." And then we've got the Pink Princess giving us a hashtag fangirls for fanboys. What an amazing way to end this stream. You guys live the dream. Don't take any wooden nickels, and don't ever cut any deals with Shaun King.